Hey guitar fanatics, welcome back. You know, I just put up a video last week on minor seventh arpeggios and how to find and play them all over the fretboard. So hopefully you've learned some shapes and you're busting out minor seventh arpeggios in your playing. But as with scales, if you just play arpeggio shapes up and down, it can sound really boring and mechanical and uninspired. So in this video, I'm going to give you some ideas on how to kick your creativity with arpeggios up a notch. Before we get started, I want to say thanks for checking out my channel. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and ring that bell for notifications. Now, for the sake of continuity with the arpeggio video that I posted last week, all of our examples today are again going to be in G minor. Okay, let's level up some arpeggios. So the first concept I want to talk about is how to color a minor seventh arpeggio by using it as a framework for licks and phrases, but adding some other notes to it to expand the sound. I like to think of arpeggios as note skeletons. They're the bones that give the underlying framework to the body of your solos. A great way to practice your arpeggio creativity is to take an arpeggio shape and spend some time with it, seeing what other notes you can add to it. For instance, we could take the 5-string G minor 7 arpeggio shape with the root, the G note on the 10th fret of the A string. We've got a 2-octave arpeggio there. And we could very easily play those 2 octaves. But in that span of notes, we've got all sorts of other options at our disposal. Check this out. We could start by breaking up the linear playing of the arpeggio by turning it into some sort of a sequence. Here's an example with that G minor 7 shape at the 10th fret. We're going to ascend through 1 octave. So I've gone from G to G. Now I'm going to go back to the D note and play up through the arpeggio to the F. Put those 2 parts together. Now I'm going to skip back to the B flat note and then play up to the G. Here's the whole thing. Now descending, I'm going to play from the G on the high E string to the B flat on the B string. Now I'm going to skip back to the F on the high E string and play to the G. Then I'm going to skip back to the D on the high E string and play the rest of the arpeggio. The whole thing would sound like this. Another technique I love to do with minor seventh arpeggios is to add in the 9th. So in the case of our G minor 7, we're going to add in an A note. So as we're playing it, we play G, B flat, D, F, and then instead of playing the octave, I'm going to jump up to the A note at the 14th fret on the G string, back to my F, then my octave, B flat, D, F, and 2nd octave. Coming down, we're playing G, F, D, B flat, G, A, F, D, B flat, and G. Great sound. We can expand on that idea with the 9th. I'm going to add in the 4th or the C note, and it would allow me to play something like this. Same way, I'm going to go up the arpeggio, G, B flat, D, F, A, F, G, B flat, D. Now, when I get to my F note, I'm going to play F, pull off to the D, and play the C note on the B string. I'm going to go up to the G note on the high E and play another triplet, G, D, and then the C note on the B string. So that would sound like this. Now I'm going to pull off that C note to B flat, and then I'm going to do a little run on the B string where I play C, D, C, B flat, and then A. Now, I've got a unison note here. I've got A at the 10th fret of the B string. I've got A at the 14th fret of the G string. I'm going to use that A at the 14th fret of the G string to start a little sequence. I'm going to play a triplet. So I play A, F, D. Now I'm going to play 4 notes, A, F, D, B flat, F, D, B flat, and then G. Awesome sound. We could make sequences out of some of those 2-note per string arpeggio inversion patterns that I talked about in the last video. If I go to the 10th fret of the E string, I've got D, F, G, and B flat. That's second inversion of G minor 7. If I go to the 12th fret of the D string, D, F, G, and B flat. And then to the 15th fret of the B string, I've got D, F, G, and B flat. Now, if we sequence that, we could play D, F, G, B flat, G, F, then ascend back, G, B flat. We're going to add in the 4th interval and slide up to the C at the 15th fret of the A string. Then we're going to repeat that pattern on the next string set. Go to the next string set. Play it up to speed. And we've got the basis for a pretty cool lick. We could also create some cool colors by filling in some of the gaps of the intervals and playing chromatically. For instance, I could play from the F to the D note on the high E string chromatically. So I'm playing F, E, E flat, D. Then I'm going to play B flat, G, F. When I get to the D string, I'm going to play D, D flat, C, and then finish off the arpeggio with the B flat and the G on the A string. Sounds kind of jazzy. If you play in a rock context, it might sound a little bit like a Guthrie Govan line. Take the time to explore and experiment. There are some great rewards and great sounds to be had. The second concept for leveling up your minor 7 arpeggio playing is to mix and match major and minor 7th arpeggios diatonic to the same key. Now, it's pretty obvious you can play the minor 7th arpeggio of the same minor 7th chord when you're soloing. But you can also play a minor 7th arpeggio over its relative major 7th chord and it sounds killer. And we've been playing our examples in G minor. The relative major of G minor is B flat. So over a B flat major 7th chord, a G minor 7th arpeggio totally works. Now, a B flat major 7th chord, we've got B flat, D, F, and A. Those are notes of B flat major 7 chord. So if we play our G minor 7th arpeggio over that, we get the notes G, B flat, D, and F. Now we lose that A note, but we pick up the G note, which is the 6th of B flat. So a B flat major 7th chord with a G note over it sounds like. This is the concept called superimposing or superimposition. And we're creating a new sound by playing a different arpeggio over a chord, and that allows us to expand the colors that we're using over that B flat major 7th chord, bringing in a note from the G minor 7th arpeggio. Now this concept works in reverse too. We could play a B flat major 7 arpeggio over a G minor 7 chord. We would lose our root note or our G, but we would pick up the A note, which is the 9th of that G minor 7, and effectively then we would get the sound of a G minor 9 chord. Now, if we were to take this a step further, we could build licks and lines using both G minor 7 and B flat major 7 arpeggios, weaving them in and out of one another. So here's some examples of how you could combine a G minor 7 arpeggio with a B flat major 7 arpeggio. There's a G minor 7th shape at the 3rd fret, for instance. And there's a B flat major 7th at the 6th fret. Here's Here's another B flat major 7 shape at the 6th fret. We could combine that with G minor 7 that ends up with the root at the 10th fret. There's G minor 7 shape at the 10th fret. And we can combine that with the B flat major 7th shape with the root down at the 13th fret of the A string. I'm going to play a little bit over a backing track. It's a 2-chord backing track, G minor 7 to B flat major 7. I'm going to use B flat major 7 over the G minor. I'm going to use G minor 7 arpeggio over the B flat major. Check it out. Now we could take this even further yet and pull some other arpeggios diatonic to the key of B flat to make up licks and lines. For instance, E flat major 7 is pretty closely related to G minor 7. Between these two arpeggios, they share 3 out of 4 notes. E flat major 7 obviously has an E flat note in it. That's not in the G minor 7 chord. Now E flat is the flat 6th of G. So if we superimpose that E flat major 7 arpeggio over a G minor 7 chord, we get the sound of G minor 7 with a flat 6, which is kind of haunting, very cool sound. Likewise, if we play a G minor 7 arpeggio over an E flat major 7th chord, there's an F note in the G minor 7 that's not in the E flat major 7. Now F is the 9th of E flat, so if we superimpose that G minor 7th arpeggio, we get the sound of an E flat major 9. Now I'm going to play over backing track, 2-chord backing track again, G minor 7 to E flat major 7. Like in the last track, I'm going to flip it around and I'm going to use the E flat major 7 arpeggio over G minor 7 chord. I'm going to use the G minor 7th arpeggio over the E flat major 7th chord. If we stick to other minor 7th arpeggios diatonic to the key of B flat, we could use C minor 7 and D minor 7. Now a C minor 7th arpeggio shares 2 notes with G minor 7, a G and a B flat, but it also adds a C note and an E flat note, which are the 4th and the 6th. D minor 7 also shares 2 notes with G minor 7, a D and an F, but it adds the C and the A, so again the 4th, and now we get the 9th interval. So there's a lot of added texture or color or mood, if you want to use that word, when we superimpose these other diatonic minor 7th arpeggios over a G minor 7 chord. Of course, this gives you so many options when you're playing over a G minor 7 chord. You can make up licks using the C minor 7, G minor 7. You can make up licks using D minor 7, G minor 7. You can make up licks using both C minor 7 and D minor 7 and the G minor 7 arpeggio. It all works. For example, here's a little lick C minor 7 into G minor 7. Here's the same lick, but using D minor 7 into G minor 7. Here's a lick that combines both D minor 7 and C minor 7 and finishes off with a little G minor pentatonic pattern. Lastly, here's kind of a crazy monster arpeggio combining all of the diatonic arpeggios that we've been talking about. We start with G-7 at the 3rd fret. That transitions into B-flat major 7 at the 6th fret. Then we go to E-flat major 7 at the 6th fret. Up to G-7 at the 10th fret. B-flat major 7 at the 13th fret. D-7 at the 17th fret. C-7 at the 15th fret. And then finish off with a little G minor pentatonic pattern. I'm going to give that a go over backing track. As always, I hope you really got something out of this, and you're not going to be that guitar player that just plays one arpeggio up and down over the same chord. For the good of humanity, get creative. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, and like I always say, you keep practicing. I'm going to keep making videos that are going to help you make sense out of soloing. Thanks. See you soon.